sometimes I told the nigga, you have to take a dookie and get a yellow football and put the nigga because then the kids will get a spiritual shit, but it will be connected because I mentioned like Jermaine that to do it nigga because it does like some niggas do bring like terrain, but you see, but only if niggas is talking about money. So niggas might even get not like Lester, they might get someone they know because some black people do have security, where they'll be like, oh, I might know someone in real life, not really like so deep versus Trayvon. They're not even from the same tribe, they're Muslim, because you can't just do that because what if a local top tribe nigga was from just some people just pop up at the right place at the right time because you'd be like, oh, who would it be? It will be people like Tyrone Cravon because I got another bug here. And I mean, sometimes niggas will have a belly like a bull, but every time I digest, it releases angels where it converts to a different currency, just like people take different dookie. Because I said that when the Abita take a dookie, he dookies on someone's head when I turn down because he produces a different type of thing where animals' lines they look to see where is the top species because they collect information. You see, yes, that's it. So that's why when my dick is small, birds like it because they don't want things that belong to other people. When my sock, I looked at the sock, it means that I knew that I had brown on it, but because I had a sock, it allowed me to associate with a tribe that's not an airline because airlines don't put it on the cross because they get paid in money for collecting races and putting them outside of the map of America. That is not the only way to measure demographics associated with other countries, you see. So when the North is not only Canada and the South related to the continental regional man of the pilot Julius Caesar who allows God to show how advanced the Romans were because some niggas like to have dick size where when niggas piss it's as big as an elephant, as small as a bird, and it pass color like this because when I release my dookie, it means that it's like a bird that can't be told what Walgreens to take a dookie because it's the light of God. Because when birds transfer information, as long as nobody sees, that means that when I was going to walk away, the lady she could have been seen. But if as long as someone wasn't in the same water fountain, it means that I could give someone an apple, and it means that the terrain of the lady who lives there, she will know that if someone was trying to eat multiple apples, because it means that they're trying to put that to the bank because they're trying to not identify the property when I ate the purple because it would be a confusing address because if a girl lived here, someone can't have a bigger house than her because she would have to eat all the food and collect it because she would have to know what terrain was in there outside of the CTA man who doesn't live here because if people don't always pay for the same property, it means that they might have a certain way where a girl can't live here, someone can't live there because they will be under the property associated with it's a nice appraisal building. But if someone says that sometimes people won't identify the property that's there because it might mean that they would be eligible to like show all the differences of how some people will have a bigger mansion, but it means that they can't always have the same building because the properties always fluctuate all the time. You depending on McDonald's, it could be the same thing as someone else, but it does fluctuate at points where people try to get spiritual shit riding bicycles because they claim that someone can't identify the difference of the property and why they don't pay taxes for saying that they want to associate with CTA workers, but they don't want to identify with why they won't say that they don't know what identity their property is when they claim that they want to give it to the CTA worker, but they claim people are ineligible for that. You see, so that's why when it's God, it means that some people have to pay their taxes. If I put it on the Abraham Lincoln dollar from the other place, it means that it's from his brother because he hits about a 17. So I also had a $1 there before someone pulled out the sword with the Indians because some men of war, if a bird has a rest, he might even fly all the way to a different to a different to a different season more than the airline pilot because it's not related to an engine or public fuel that people don't have to pay for their fuel because they claim they try to compensate themselves to show what type of airline that they had when they say that it wasn't from 2016 or Swedish 2X because they try to say that they're Christians like Pilate, but they don't want to say that the bird can't fly a whole time, not even knowing where it's going to rest when it flies to the south after whatever pixel before the Circle Harbor, because it does matter if someone tries to say that the bird came from them and they want to say that they're in the same position trying to put a boundary that's not from their father's house around the bird. How will they compensate that bird if he doesn't have a bank account, but saying that the squirrel will have an acorn? That's the only thing that he wants. But by the time I'm done with this dookie, why is that a bird claims that if it was a green bird, it might make a green dookie? If it was a small spider, he might want to get a millipede and have a dick seed of a small apple seed. So sometimes people don't always take the same heat as someone who claims that he had a dicky licky video, because it means that some nigga's dick might be bigger than the whole school when someone calls the police and thought they were going to Toronto New Year's after Home Depot $50 before money lost, because when God has the spirit, he doesn't work through birds. He just says if he sees the spray and it's not sold at a local school, why is it not there? Because it reminds him of something where someone is inhumane for following the law at a time they claim they can't be set free because the local angle of the Lehman Street is not associated with how someone claims that the Walmart is after that street, but it means that the library is before the highway back forward, because the Walmart is before the Lehman Street. But if I go up to the church, it means that the yellow line would be after the Curry, Colorado placement after the wash. And that was after my video on the 14th, before I ate something. What would it be before my dick got horny a certain way? Because the birds, they say I only reproduce because I mentioned seeing like a blue egg when I was walking on the other side, because it means that I'm not into making love with a woman, but I am into showing her the result of her beauty, because it means that a girl, she doesn't use this, because you would have to have you would have to have gay toenails to be eligible to pooty like a girl, because she claims it's part of her art. But if I have big legs, it means that God, he'll be like, oh, what if he unwrapped his legs and they were big and chubby? What would he do if he said that he wanted to say that Darius, he would have to hardcore race a nigga because he claims that he would detrap a nigga, but not if a nigga was kind of like associated with some type of Jewish church or something, shit. So that's how it goes. So sometimes when I do this, sometimes I'll be like, why does I feel a little bit sick? Why is it that I feel like this pooty? It looks like when I had to release my oxygen, if I take my shirt off, it's the same as spraying this pooty, because if I go out and grab me a piece of toilet paper. So sometimes if I grab me a piece of toilet paper, what if I got sick from my walk for digesting something? What if an Indian went into Chinese American territory? He might get sick from the Chinese birds. So if I got sick, how would I know if I could pray to God? Because what if someone try to kill a nigga? Because fuck, someone claims that if I call on God and I take a pootie, how would it mean that some nigga will be like, these niggas was existing before Brenneman, but what if someone endangered themselves to try to get access to my life before time? So that's how, be keep in mind, this is the 16 and 25, but there was a time when niggas try to kill me before I had to fight for my belief, when they try to say it's not true and return to secret to call the police, because they already existed before church. So when I wipe my booty, what if God had his robes on? How would the Lord wipe his booty if some Mexican man from the Catholic Church said that he can't do that because he claims that he's a high place related to the Roman soldier, because he says that people have to go to that school or else they're gonna have to work for the local FedEx, because a man claims he's offended at a nigga's booty dookie size related to my dick size, because not everybody from the local psych hospital is eligible to say that someone is a secret even before them, in a year before them, a day before them, a month before them. But they say that they're any different from the past 3 years after my Google Pixel after that, because if God wears a robe, he says, how does he take a dookie? It's because he asks his apostles to clean him, just like the lady cleans his feet, because you have to be eligible for that. You have to know that God, he likes hygiene, because he only makes an appearance if he sees this dookie thing and he sees someone be eligible to make a move to move that school. Sometimes, how would someone clean their hand if they had to take a bird dookie, but a church was saying they wanted to release an angel of something that's related to their Indian nation, of how they claim that a nigga can't lay on the blankets. That's not in the Bible because some people say I'm ineligible for their church because they claim that if it wasn't for me, God would say it would be my eye because he claims that the colors of his eyes is actually like a maroon bird because he likes it, because he likes to get fed in blankets and power because he knows that if God was going to make a heaven, how would someone kiss God's toes if they weren't eligible for it? Because they claim God is into track and field, but he couldn't run it because God is into eating people's dookie because he just be like, that's the way it is. Because if he didn't do that, what if someone got sick and God would have to fix it because he would know that he comes from all people. But if someone has a vendetta or someone has a certain way, he can't return because God could eat any apple, run any track and field, have any carpet. But if there's one organization saying he can't have one thing, how would they say that they want to come out when God is working because they want to relate to the local store and say that he can't uh, get a son because they're doing something at a time that is a chant that's not related to the feet of God, who doesn't like to be on the pavement of places that is elementary school because they say nobody could do the dookie juice because they don't know how to do it because you have to be someone who's eligible to whip a dookie dick out before the thing because you have to be into that because God had to take a dookie, but he can't make a church if someone claims he's not recognized by the angels that come from his terrain because the Indians, they fought for what they believe and they collect information and storage like the Mayans and May because they don't let people record them like George Washington because he's ineligible to record God because his glory is related to the dick shape of the wooden floor like the wooden cross because that's how people associate the church, not through a cathedral that people say is eligible to remain on Orphan Park because it says that the water culture from the North Branch is actually related to the coat placement because it has a different spirit than the St. Paul by the extra space because the place that I returned to that I walked with a Noah, it wasn't related to the place that I walked when I recorded Mom on the tablet. And there's one more place that I returned to on the other side that would be the Green Watch because some people go to places where they go because that's why they're eligible to go to God because they can go to the Catholic Church because they know Maria Rivera. But if they wanted to get to the next level, they would have to tell Romy she has to date Tony Randolph because he's eligible to say if he could be, if these guys are threatening him because they try to relate to a church of a Catholic saying that they are a certain tribe that uses the target to say that they're feared because he's trying to catch angels from a job corp after Emerson that says he's working at a place that is not related to that target being built in a certain year around the Maggiano's drink because they claim someone's not aware that they existed in 1614. Before that, Skokie existed after 2012, but there's no evidence of what type of building they will go to get a prayer to cast the old age off of them or else the Roman soldier is going to say when people go swimming, they can't do that because it's nasty, because it means that they have to account for cleaning themselves at a time God, he doesn't go swimming because it means that someone who went swimming at the export, it will be nasty unless someone says that they were going to park saying that they were wolf in sheep's clothing because they claim that someone can't report that what the entry is when they say that they're trying to go to other places from a Catholic church to catch angels that's not related to the individual year that there's the May 16th that they say is related to a young man's heart of God, you see.